Today, we're tearing apart a concept that is, I think, one of the most misunderstood and financially critical in our industry.
Branding.
Branding, exactly. For years, this word has just been about, picking a nice color palette or maybe commissioning a sleek new logo.
Yeah.
But our mission today is to go way deeper and explain why that kind of shallow thinking is actively costing you revenue and, frankly, your autonomy.
It absolutely is. We're moving far beyond the cosmetic because a brand, it's not a marketing expense. It is a strategic operational system.
A system.
And for property managers right now, this is really the only viable roadmap to regaining control over those guest relationships, improving your pricing power, and actually hitting your revenue goals.
And we really need to start with the urgency here, the commercial side of it, because if you take nothing else away from this deep dive, failing to build a strong brand is probably the single largest preventable profit leak in the entire short-term rental industry.
It really is. It's not the leaky faucet. It's the hole in the bottom of the bucket. It's a constant pain point.
Yeah.
We've all seen it, right?
Yeah.
A manager invests heavily in high-quality sheets. They hire top-tier cleaning staff. They respond to every request in minutes.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
The traveler leaves a review saying, I loved my stay at the Airbnb.
Exactly.
All the operational heavy lifting, all the expense, the detail, and the mental credit, the trust, the memory, it just flows directly to the platform.
Not to the company that actually delivered the experience.
The one doing all the work.
Precisely. And that loss of credit, that lack of brand equity, it gets right to the heart of what's at stake here.
It really does.
Your brand strength determines whether your company grows on its own terms or if you just stay perpetually dependent, paying big commissions just to survive.
So it's not something you do after you've made money.
No, it's a core business function.
Yeah.
It's a profit lever that literally reshapes the economic reality of your business.
So our goal for you today is very clear. First, we're going to define what a brand is and what branding is. We're going to separate the strategy from all the design noise.
And then we're going to walk you through a complete step-by-step framework. 9 steps, built from the inside out, for building a brand that actually delivers measurable results.
Right, so let's start with correcting that fundamental misunderstanding. This is where everyone gets stuck.
It is. They spend money on all the wrong things.
The common mistake is just treating branding as a design exercise. They hire a designer, they get a new logo, refresh the website, maybe buy a new font.
And then they launch it, and 6 months later, they're wondering why their direct bookings haven't budged.
Why nothing changed?
And the performance stays flat because that aesthetic layer, all that visual polish, it lacks a strategic backbone.
Right, so visual identity matters, but it's not the foundation.
It's not. It's the recognition layer. It reinforces the meaning you've already defined. But true brand work, that requires deep strategic clarity before you ever talk to a designer.
You have to know what you stand for first.
Yes. Okay, let's unpack that definition then. If it's not the logo, what exactly is a brand in our context?
We define a brand simply as the expectation a guest carries with them before they even stay. It's that gut feeling.
The gut feeling.
That gut feeling that determines if your company is safe, reliable, predictable, and, crucially for profit, worth the price you're asking.
So a strong brand lives in the guest's memory, not in your graphics folder.
Exactly. It's not the colors, it's the baggage those colors carry, built up through repeated experience.
It's all about association then.
Absolutely. A brand is essentially association. Strong brands automatically link specific desired outcomes directly to their name.
Can you give us a practical example?
Sure. Let's say your team delivers a standard of cleanliness that is just reliably excellent. Every single unit, every time. Guests attach that reliability to your company name.
Not to the platform.
Not to the platform. Or if your communication is timely, warm, human, they attach a sense of ease to your name.
And that pattern matching, that's the magic of it. It creates a mental shortcut.
It does. The guest doesn't have to spend 45 minutes comparing you to 10 other listings next time. They just think, your name equals that specific desired experience.
And I'm willing to pay a premium for that guarantee.
Exactly. Which leads us to branding. If the brand is the association, the mental part, what is branding?
Branding is the strategic system. It's the system you use to shape that memory through repeated, consistent experience that you deliver.
That sounds like a big shift in responsibility for leadership. It means you have to deliberately define what you want to be known for.
Down to the micro level. That is the entire point. You have to choose which experiences you will deliver without fail, clarity, luxury, local depth, whatever it is.
And then align the entire operation around that.
The entire operation, guest services, owner relations, maintenance, everything gets aligned around delivering those specific desired outcomes.
So you are deliberate, relentlessly enforcing the memory you want people to have. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting and where the hard work starts. We need to move from theory into execution. So many people talk about this, but there's no framework.
Well, this framework is built from the inside out. That internal consistency is what generates the external trust.
And that's what leads to the measurable results, like more direct bookings.
Rising direct bookings, improved pricing power, better owner acquisition, all of it.
Let's jump in. Step 1.
Step 1, defining your brand backbone. And this has to start internally.
So what does that look like?
You sit down and you literally map every single interaction, from the moment a guest sees an ad to the post-checkout email and everything in between.
Like a maintenance call or something.
A maintenance call, pre-arrival guide, every touch point. And for each one, you must specify the consistent outcome that should be associated with your brand.
Okay, give me an example. Let's say a toilet overflows. What's the brand-aligned outcome there?
So if your brand promise is premium, effortless stays, the outcome isn't just the toilet got fixed.
Yeah.
It's the guest felt fully supported. The issue was resolved in under an hour with minimal involvement from them, and they got a proactive, empathetic apology.
That specific outcome, support and speed, that's what strengthens the memory.
That detail is what forms your strategic brand book. And it's all about meaning and experience, not about where to place a logo.
Okay, so foundation is set. Steps 2 and 3, you said, involve the properties themselves.
The physical product. You need a ruthless audit of your existing homes against that new brand backbone.
Ruthless.
You have to identify every single unit where the guest experience falls short of your definition.
Yeah.
So if your brand is coastal chic luxury, but you've got 5 homes with mismatched wicker furniture,
And 10-year-old mattresses.
those homes are diluting your luxury promise. They're weakening the identity you're trying to build.
That has to be the hardest conversation a manager can have, telling an owner their home isn't up to the new standard.
It is, but it's a non-negotiable step. And moving forward, property selection becomes a critical safeguard for the brand.
So you have to be willing to say no to new homes.
You must question it or potentially decline it. Every home that doesn't fit undermines the credibility of the entire portfolio. Consistency is the currency of trust.
I really appreciate that emphasis on ruthlessness. Okay, step 4 is about the guest. How do we align these associations with who we're serving?
Once you have your ideal guest profile defined, the family traveler, the corporate exec, you determine which specific associations you want to strengthen that align with what they value most.
So if your guest is a high-level corporate traveler,
They value predictability, minimal friction. So your brand association has to be about that. If your brand is local expertise, you need proprietary guidebooks, not just a link to Google Maps.
the brand choice dictates the operational priority.
It does.
Okay, now we get to the engine of the whole operation.
Yeah.
The team. Steps 5, 6, and 7 are about internal alignment.
Hiring, training, and incentives. This is where most managers fail to link brand to the P&L.
So hiring.
Hiring is your first and most critical filter. You have to recruit people who naturally reflect the experience you want to deliver.
So if your brand is about high-touch, empathetic service,
You interview for emotional intelligence and communication clarity, not just their maintenance skills.
so instead of asking, can you fix a clogged toilet, you ask, tell me about a time you handled a challenging guest while staying calm.
Exactly. You hire for alignment first. Then training reinforces that system.
And it's not just about teaching them the process, right?
It's teaching them the purpose behind the process. The team needs to understand why the brand dictates that guest messages get answered in 15 minutes, not just that they have to be answered quickly.
Understanding the why lets them make smart, on-brand decisions when something unexpected happens.
Precisely. And this has to be supported by a smart incentive structure. We need to move beyond just rewarding speed.
So what do we reward instead?
You reward outcomes that build brand equity. Clarity, timeliness, accuracy, guest satisfaction. For instance, you might incentivize staff for reducing the number of follow-up calls needed for a maintenance ticket.
Because that efficiency and clarity reinforces the premium brand. That is a fundamental shift. Okay, step 8, homeowner alignment. This is so critical in our industry.
It's non-negotiable because it protects the brand promise. You need contractual standards for maintenance, for furnishings, for readiness.
Because one poorly maintained home can undermine the whole thing.
Instantly, it jeopardizes your entire direct booking funnel. If a homeowner refuses to upgrade the slow internet, it undermines your company's credibility.
So the conversation with the owner isn't, you need new furniture.
No, it's to maintain the premium rate our brand commands, which helps us both. We require this investment to uphold the guest promise.
You link the brand standard directly to their profitability.
You show them the investment protects the shared asset.
Okay, and finally, step 9, making your brand the core operating system.
When you do all this, when the brand becomes the foundation of your company, every operational decision just simplifies.
How so?
When the team knows the core identity, what you stand for, what memory you're trying to create, they know how to handle new situations without escalating to management.
So every choice, every script, every protocol just automatically reinforces the brand identity.
It simplifies decision-making and it improves efficiency.
So we've built this system from the inside out, based on behavior and consistency. Where do we see the measurable impact? How do we know it's sealing that profit leak we talked about?
You see it directly in the KPIs.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, guests do not separate brand from operations.
They treat them as the same thing.
They're one and the same.
Yeah.
So when operations are reliably on brand, trust is built. And that shows up first in your direct booking share. It goes up.
Because guests trust your name enough to bypass the OTA.
Second, your average daily rate, your ADR, starts to outperform comparable properties because you've justified the premium. Third, owner retention strengthens because your brand attracts better guests and higher revenue. And critically, your branded search volume.
People typing your company name directly into Google.
It starts to rise significantly. The brand is no longer a cost, it's a measurable commercial asset.
That is a phenomenal way to frame it, from a cosmetic project to a verifiable profit lever. So as we wrap up, let's distill this into 4 essential, actionable principles.
Okay, first, a strong brand is built through behavior, not visuals. Focus on the expectations you want people to associate with your name.
Second, operations are the engine. This means aligning everything, your property standards, your communication, your service, with those non-negotiable expectations.
Third, consistency builds memory. You have to reinforce that brand meaning across every single interaction. Inconsistency is poison.
And fourth, measurement is essential. You have to track those specific KPIs, direct bookings, ADR, owner retention, to make sure the work is actually translating into commercial success.
And if the metrics don't shift, the branding work isn't done yet.
So a final thought to leave everyone with.
The travel market is increasingly shaped by powerful platforms and AI. Managers who possess true strategic brand clarity will be the ones who lead the industry in the next decade.
And without it,
you risk being treated as just interchangeable inventory. A list of undifferentiated units on a screen, easily swapped out for the next cheapest listing.
So brand clarity really determines whether you own your guest relationships or whether you just rent them from the platforms.
That choice rests entirely on building your brand from the inside out. Starting today, go define your backbone.
Go find the Booking Brief Vacation Rentals Management podcast and subscribe on YouTube.